What is up, beautiful humans? This is Blythe Langford, your personal freedom coach. And I really wanted to tune in about this because I was just really triggered by somebody else's comment. I've just woken up, all the things, no hair, no makeup, all the stuff, which I don't normally do anyway, I don't give a shit. But I really wanted to bring this up because this is really interesting. It's like somebody had just said, and I'm totally in comparing mode, and I'm just letting you know what it's like. I understand what it's like being a human. I have my human moments, and one of like this moment in time right now is a human moment. And I want to share this because it's real. I'm not perfect. And I've been doing transformational work for 20 years, and it's a constant evolution of your soul. And so if other leaders and things like that are putting it out there that if you were in doing transformational work, that you would have all of your shit together all of the time, and that you were never affected by the outside world, then I would just like to say that's a spiritual bypass. Personally, I believe that we were all put here for human experiences, and that's to feel a range of emotions. And when the world has given us lemons and you made freaking lemonade, what about if they give you a fucking bomb up your ass, right? Like, this time has been massive for all of us for people to not validate where you were, or not validate that their potential feelings and upset and trauma has been raised and brought to the surface, is like a load of shit. It just makes me say, what within them are they not looking at that is actually potentially there for them, that they're meditating their way out of and raising their frequency and missing the whole fucking point. The whole point of all of this corona, all of the stuff that's going on in the world at the moment, is to trigger you. It's to find out what within you is incongruent of your mission. It's to find out with you what within you doesn't align and needs to have a breakdown so that you can understand what the hell is going on and what you do and don't want to have in your life moving forward, and how you can look at the parts of you that you haven't been in love with before, that are ugly or wrong, or you may have seen as bad, when that's just your humanness. And this is the perfect time to take a pause and to look at your humanness and to see how you act in certain areas and how you want to shift or change or improve that, or whether you don't and you think that you're freaking perfect. I'm just saying this because I know for me, I've had so many triggers come up. Like, I've been in business with some business partners since I was for 20 years. And like dealing with people in unethical businesses, the unethical people, because believe me, when I was 25, I was just like partying and doing all the great stuff and wasn't a super conscious human being, right? Like I was a mainstream normal person, and I was killing it. I was freaking killing it. And so who I aligned with back then isn't necessarily who I align with now. And so having to deal with lawyers and businesses and all of the mainstream things is challenging for somebody that's spiritual as fuck and like highly evolved and all of the things, because it brings out my humanness. And that is there for me to experience for many reasons. And I'm looking forward to what it brings out on the other side of this. During the journey though, it's clunky, it's messy, I can feel like a piece of shit, I can feel less than, I can feel unworthy. All of these things are triggered within me because there is parts of that within me still. And hallelujah, I get to look at that. And hallelujah, I've got the tools to be able to navigate that. And hallelujah, I've got a fucking amazing coach who triggers me and knows the right things to say so that I am upset, so that we can see what is beyond the fake version of myself that's had it all together because I've done all the transformational work and I know how to be strong within these moments. It's like, fuck that. Get behind your perfect self and what's at the back, what's niggling away at you that is actually the 99% of your unconscious reality, the 99% of your unconscious brain that you are still acting from a lot of the time. Like when you're walking places and you're not super aware of what's going on and you're on autopilot, what is actually going on? It's the subliminal programming in the back of our mind that is actually acting for us. And so, look, I can be perfect all of the fucking time. Like, that's why I live near the beach. I've set my life up so perfect, and like I stay away from certain people and don't do a whole lot of things, and I've been trying to stay off the phone a whole lot lately because I'm realigning with my new gifts and everything, and it's all very spiritual and all of the things. Like, it really is a lot to take in at the moment, this new raise of consciousness. There's a lot going on, and I need to separate myself a lot of the time from people, yet I'm still a human being, have a human experience, and I don't want to deny any of that, but I'm recombobulating, as one of my teachers would say, recombobulating my soul at the moment, and I'm staying away from people a lot and really doing huge, deep inner work at the moment, because this transformation is massive for the collective, for me, for all of it. And being an intuitive and being an empath, like a lot of us are people that get anxiety, depression, and ADD and all of these things. Like, a lot of that is that you've got supernatural powers, so to say, that you don't know how to incorporate into your life, and it's learning to, like, it's having somebody to support you through that while you're having all these upgrades. I know me without my coach would be so much harder, and it's already hard and challenging, but it's so beautiful, this evolution. I wouldn't have it any other way. And especially on the other side of this, oh my gosh, like, I know what that is going to be, and I'm going through all of these mainstream things in certain avenues within legislation and government, and finding out all of these things, and business and corporations, and but it's super important because I know that I'm going to be able to help more people on the other side of this. Like, I'm ninja at health and business and personal development, and like how I coach my clients in so many other ways, and this new piece will be huge. So I don't want to bypass all the emotions that are involved in this, because the emotions that are involved in this are what I'm going to need to help my clients through when they're going through these processes. So for me to ignore what's at the subconscious and just totally transform everything and go to the beach and pray and be like super, super enlightened all the time, I'm missing the humanness of it. So I am expanding my container in so many ways. Let me tell you, I'm expanding my container mentally, physically. Like, I'm eating more than I've eaten in a whole long time. I'm physically growing my body in the container just to see what it feels like to stretch myself in that way, and to love myself when I'm not my ideal weight. Because being my ideal weight is a program as well. I want to love all parts of me all the time, no matter how they look, no matter if somebody might consider it unhealthy, no matter if the business is failing. I want to see how I am if every area of my life, well, not every area, but a lot of areas of my life are not how I saw them that they needed to be. Like, if things look like they're in a breakdown or crashing down or all of those things, like, how can I show up and be my authentic truth in all of those areas? Yet they're not perfect, and yet I am still learning, and yet there are so many miracles and so many emotions in all of these spaces. So I just wanted to say, if you're looking at people's work and they're making you feel less than or triggered by, then that's totally cool. Like, I get it as well. Like, when people pretend that everything is so perfect, and like they go and meditate, and then they are in an amazing enlightened state, and they do that a few times a day, and they don't actually have to deal with a lot of real world problems, then fuck, they're lucky. But that, to me, is part of a spiritual bypass. And this is like me being super judgmental, and I'll own that part of myself. I've got narcissistic traits just like everybody. I am a human being, and I love my humanness, and I'm well in my humanness right now. So I'm just letting you know that I'm owning that. But also allow yourself to love all parts of your humanness. You're beautiful. All of your parts, your narcissistic parts, your ugly parts, the bits that sabotage you, all of them. It's not about disattaching from them or avoiding them or anything like that. They're parts of us that we've been given by our multidimensional selves before we were incarnated to come in here, and it's our job here as humans to integrate all parts of them into our being, because that is a part of us. So once we can love on, because it's easy to love on the parts of ourselves that are beautiful, pretty, supportive, compassionate, caring, nurturing. It's easy to love those parts of yourself. Like, if they're the only spaces that you live in, are you doing the work? Because it's about loving your narcissist, it's about loving your saboteur, it's loving your emotional eating, it's about loving all of the parts of yourself, it's about loving being sad, it's about loving your depression, your anxiety, because we know what it is and we know how it started and when it developed, and we love those parts of ourselves because these things all started with things from our past. And when we can love on all parts of our inner child, our inner critic, what all of these parts mean, then we can actually really start to do the work. And I'm highly reminded of this as last night I was doing a part of course, and one of the teachers was like, well, if you've got all of these things going on, and how can you create possibility within them? I'm great with creating possibility within all of these situations, but I'm not going to bypass my emotions, and I'm not going to bypass the feelings that come up and what they actually mean, because if I do, I'm just yet again suppressing them and stepping on to the next thing and not expanding my container and realizing the gift of what is here. And so when I go into what it is that I'm feeling and understanding these parts of myself, then I'm actually really doing soul discovery and really discovering who I am at the deepest core levels, and what that means. Is it because of I'm seeking approval? Am I lacking security? And is that why I'm controlling a situation? I want to know why I'm doing these things and how I can make remind myself that I always approve of myself, that I'm always safe within my body, within my container, and that I don't need to control anything because everything is always taken control of. So if I have both of these things going on at this simultaneously, then I am actually doing the transformational work. But if I'm just going into bypassing it, then I'm not. So it's really important to honor every part of yourself, yet seeing it through the lens of it not controlling you, but being curious of what is here. What is this trigger? Why am I feeling this way? And when things are really like you are feeling it in every freaking way, like it's challenging, it's tough, all of it, just taking a few deep breaths and going, what is this? What is this? How can I learn to understand why I am so deeply triggered? And what do I need to do within myself? How can I nourish my soul so that this doesn't have the power over me and this doesn't disempower me, and so that I can really have transformation through this moment. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that, because I don't want you to spiritually bypass the gift that is here for you right now. I want you to be able to expand into your greatness and incorporate all parts. That's not the right word, but integrate all parts of your being, because every part of you is beautiful. Every part of you is whole. Every part of you is either good, bad, or ugly because you made it that. It's whatever you make it. So when we can allow all parts of ourselves to be fully integrated without judgment of it being bad, good, or indifferent, then we're fully whole, and then we are complete, and then we can be happy in many different moments. But if we were just to spiritually bypass all of these emotions and not integrate these parts of ourselves and just go into the problem solving, then we're missing the point of being human. And I want us to all be able to, we all want to be able to understand our human, and to be fully accepting of our human, and to love on our humanness, so that we can have the evolution that our soul was put here to have, so that we can be part of the solution. It's not by fixing the external, it's by knowing the internal environment. By knowing the internal environment so deeply, then we can actually understand how we can impact the external. So don't bypass this internal development that is here right now. Love on yourself. Integrate all parts of yourself. Be kind to yourself when shit's going on and you're triggered. Just love on yourself and appreciate that you're triggered. Appreciate that you're human. Appreciate that you care and you have compassion. Don't bypass those parts of yourself. They're beautiful when you understand it. Don't bypass the parts, like the ugly parts. Like I was having the identity breakdown, that I had some racist tendencies, that I had some narcissistic traits that I wasn't that I wasn't accepting parts of myself. I wasn't accepting that I was fully white. I wasn't accepting so many things. And I could have just bypassed that and concentrate on the external, but instead, myself and what I'm getting all of my clients to do is we're going internal and looking and understanding and loving these parts and how we can integrate them and not be so obsessed with controlling everything, just allowing spirit to do spirit work and allowing our connection with spirit, and allowing the greatness of ourselves and spirit to be fully one in collaboration, so that we all have this beautiful outcome. And even in our darkest moments, our darkest narcissistic, gross, ugly, fat, emotional eating, whatever your bit is, that even in that space, that we are beautiful, that we are perfect, whole and complete, and that we can manifest even in our darkest grossness, that we can be abundant even when people may see us as being scarce or less than, or whatever those emotions are that we don't necessarily feel, that we can be in collaboration, connected fully with our higher self, in flow state when we are fully having a breakdown and feel like a piece of shit, right? Because once we actually take it to that next level, then there isn't this raising of consciousness in this place that we need to get to, because we are always conscious and we are not needing to avoid or escape anything, because understanding that we are still escaping prevents our humanness and prevents our human from being in collaboration with God or spirit all of the time, because we're always spirit's always there giving to us, and we've just got to allow the receiving to flow in. So even in our darkest hours, how can we still be a receiving beacon of abundance? So that's the places that we're playing at the moment, and it's beautiful and it's messy and it's real and it's authentic, and we're not spiritually bypassing anything. We are expanding our container, and it's resonating for the people around us. Like one of my clients, I'm just going to speak of this one, I could speak about all of them. One of my clients, she was doing this deep inner work a few weeks ago. We had our call, and her partner, her mother, and her people in her workplace were all having massive shifts as well, because she's resonating, not raising her frequency and bypassing anything. She is fully in there expanding her container, and that is really resonating to her collective environment. Like her mother is having these breakthroughs within her own anxiety, and their relationship that wasn't so easy is now beautiful and easy, and they're understanding each other because she's expanding the container, and she's having communication with her partner it's going to a depth that it's never been at before, and the relationship is so beautiful. They're exploring new parts within themselves and together within their relationship that they'd never gone to before, and it's so beautiful, and what she didn't even know was ever going to be available. Or within her workplace, where her 3 bosses are now, rather than seeing her as an employee, have actually taking her to that next level, and it's like a partnership within her role within that business. They've actually seen her for what she is, doing the work within herself, and that's resonating and creating more of conscious expanding for them as well. And they're all doing this work together. I mean, they're not doing the coaching work that we're doing, but they're having the breakthroughs. So when you're doing this work and you're in all of your stuff, yet communicating with spirit at the exact same time, it allows this expansion of consciousness to go into every area that is present for you in your world. And that's the medicine, that's the work that we're doing now. So don't bypass anything. Don't avoid any of your humanness. It's there for a reason. It's popped up now for a reason. So get a coach, reach out to whoever it is that you resonate. I mean, if it's not me and somebody else, do that. Personal freedom coaching is what I do, because I want people to be mentally free. I want people to be free within their body without the constraints that keep you trapped. I don't want you to have to look a certain way or be a certain way. Yes, they're a byproduct of having mental freedom, but I want you to love yourself no matter what. I don't want you to have to beat yourself up if you're eating past a certain time, or if you're not in bliss moments all of the time, or if you're having an argument with somebody, or if your kids are annoying you. I don't want you to have to bypass those things. They're going to be there. They're going to pop up. It's how we can love those parts of you when those things are coming up, and how we can work with that so that your anxiety is understood and allowed rather than being avoided or being suppressed, because that's not long term. That is never going to be a long term transformation. It's a fucking band-aid. So rip the band-aids off. Let's go straight in and do the deep inner work. I'm here for you. I love this work, and I'm doing it with you constantly, because I never will say that I'm there. I'm at that place that I always wanted to be at. It's like, I mean, I have said that many times, but as soon as you say that, the universe just goes, okay, now you've got a bit more work to do because you're comfortable. So, and I am very, like, even though I'm having like all of this, so much going on, I'm super comfortable in my body and in where I am, because I've set my life up perfectly. And that's what I would love other people to be able to do, to set their life up perfectly, to deal with all of their things that come up internally and all of their external stuff. So reach out to me. My name is Blythe Langford. I'm a personal freedom coach. I love this work. I love supporting other people to discover all parts of themselves and to become their own medicine, fully integrating all parts of their being. You're a multidimensional person. You're a multidimensional being having a human experience, and it's beautiful. You don't need to bypass it, because that's when you'll come back and you'll get these lessons again and again and again until you get it. So let's go in, do the work, and integrate all of you right now. I love you so much. I love you. I love you so much, so very much. Please understand that this is all coming from a place of love, and so that you can expand into all parts of your greatness, because when you can understand all parts of your greatness, then you can have greater impact in the world. I love you so much.